Kada malungil tu taon mora rogul adaloreng sa rajor el time mergoe tukuk Marcel el sils rabekel sandel bodo mesaigel ngaringira bloa del maklol to eu aise directo to da uldas to el UDESUALL el girela ablur belau ma girela klangar gidara da belau ma el agada ngaria to gobet sel lokiargid tirganga ngaria terur di Australia ma imor di rahuliping mergong te adi motogorang bar makada aya marra ada Lorenz tirgel kuk tegal lodong liat orang bar da gimo melas kwadi i olda motogor belau sen sebera serbol mereka muda du atalat at this time we're it's an honor to have our special guest this morning. This program is about freedom to express oneself and freedom for Palauan people to know what is what's happening in their country, in their government, and to express themselves. So basically, it's a basic rights or enshrined in our constitution that every Palauan has a right to have access to information and also to express oneself, and that the media, the press, has a right to find out information and to disseminate to the people, and not to disclose our source. But when we have a topic of major importance to our lives and to our people, we bring guests. So you're one of the few exception, foreigners who have come to our shores, and
Thank you so much.
So we're gonna forego. We're supposed to go through some news items, but I'll just go through quickly some of the basic important events in our country in the last 1 week. And so basically, we have an unfortunate tragedy in Palau this week. On Monday, a fisherman in one of the states called Ngirmang went fishing in the morning, and he didn't return, and the water was rough, so he's been lost up to now. Then on the next day, Tuesday, search parties went, government and private volunteers, and one of the boat was overturned by a rough water in one of the reef in front of the state. Yeah, so and then he died. There were 4 in the boat, and 3 managed to swim, and then 1 died. So it's so at this time, wanna express our sympathy and grievance to the family, and the search is still going on. In fact, until today, 5 days. That's the way the system goes, and then if not, then because it's pretty much when people get lost especially outside the reef, it's pretty hard to find them because of the current, and it's kind of rough seas this week. So
there was a typhoon.
Yeah, that hit the Philippines. I understand. So I understand that there's quite a lot of damage and some people died in the Philippines.
I have not really gotten in touch with her, but I heard,
That okay, so
Yes,
I mean,
they have at least 13 people they know.
I saw the news.
That's correct.
And that was what, Monday or
Tuesday.
Tuesday? Yeah.
Tuesday. So it hit pretty hard. It actually hit your province, your area, Bohol, quite hard.
Yeah. So it's just we talking about typhoons and rough waters. We're very close to the Philippines, but usually it starts around our area, and then skip us and go hit the Philippines. I don't know. Maybe
you are very lucky. Actually, Palau is protected.
Yeah, but but it's like southern Philippines, like Davao. Davao and Palau are in the same latitude, so we're spared. But people in Luzon area and Central Philippines are maybe they're doing something not acceptable by the Almighty. So, yeah. And then also we have an election in one of the states last Tuesday, and the woman incumbent, first time incumbent, and then she's incumbent, and then she won election.
Wonderful. That's
well, at least
amazing.
she's ahead by 36 votes. So we have absentee ballots coming, but it's pretty hard to catch because we have our people who reside overseas and who vote. So we're waiting. They're waiting for but it's a woman, young woman, and by the way, sister of the president.
Wow.
Yeah. So. Yes, and that's kind of an interesting, case because it's. And then next week we have another election next Tuesday for Malgaok State, where I'm from. Mm-hmm. That's where the capital of Palau is, and like the Ngirmang election, they're also their relatives. This
Is a woman running?
No, but there's two men, and they're in-laws. So it's an interesting, talking about family peace, and about so when this democracy has a way that when people, it's very rare. It's very rare that in-laws run against each other and relatives, but it does happen.
It's rare here in Palau.
It's a small population.
Yes.
It's a lot of that cases in Philippines.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, especially in the mountain province in the Philippines. I've been to Mindanao and to those provinces up in relatives against relatives, and it's or men and wife running, have holding office.
Husband and
like
wife.
a governor and senator or
As long as they're
mayor.
in the same party, it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. So I guess we'll now start with you. So I guess we'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and the purpose of you here, and Irene will lead the questioning.
Can you bring my question?
Okay. Yeah.
So we need to know whether you are here in Palau as friends or as enemies,
Okay. Good morning. Thank you, Attorney Moses, for having us here. And thank you, Irene, for inviting us. My name is Christina Barlaan. I'm the president of Women's Federation for World Peace Philippines. And my friend here, this is Susi Evans. She is the chairwoman of Women's Federation in Queensland, Brisbane, Australia. Okay, and she's a Women's Federation colleague, Daniela Greenall from Melbourne. And they just arrived yesterday,
Just
right?
day before
The day
yesterday
before
evening, yes.
yesterday. And first of all, I really want to thank the President and First Lady of Palau for inviting us here and opening the doors for this First Lady Summit. And Mr. Attorney Moses Uludong, the Honorable Man in Palau, who opened the door for us. This is 1 year ago, right?
Yes.
Almost 1 year ago that we first came in and met the First Lady. Basically, the first ever Asia Pacific First Lady Summit. The theme is addressing the critical challenges of our time: interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values. And these are the core issues that I think, not just for women, but for humanity in general, because wherever we look at it, we are plagued with so many problems, but we need to look at the core in order to solve all these problems.
Excuse me, before you go on, in this culture, whenever you speak in public, the listeners have to know who you are, where you came from, what's your background.
Okay, sure.
In order to, so at least you need to tell us, because that's really determine whether we listen to you or not. Because if you just
Okay,
come off the street and start
How
talking to the
important,
How
public and
important,
talking about this
yes,
big stuff, and they say, "Who's this? Why listen to?"
why
So can
does
you
it
explain
listen to
your
you?
Yes.
background a little bit?
Okay. I'm from the Philippines. I'm the president of the Women's Federation for World Peace, Philippines. And
what is it? I mean, what is
it is a women's NGO, non-governmental organization founded by the Reverend Dr. San Myung Moon and Hak Jahan Moon. And we have membership chapters in almost all countries in the world. We are an affiliate organization with the Universal Peace Federation, the organizer of this First Lady Summit. And we are also co-hosting this summit. And we have a general consultative status with the United Nations since 1997. We're one of those NGOs. UN has about over 4,000 NGOs since 1960s, 1940s. And we are one of those 100 plus, 140 and above, granted with that general consultative status. We work to partner with the United Nations in its goals of world peace and development. So we go to many countries. We do poverty eradication, women empowerment, education, raising our thrust depending on the chapters. For example, Susi here, she focused in Queensland on the domestic peace forum and healthy lifestyles, right? And we focus on raising young leaders and empowering women, making women shine and become a peacemaker from home, family, society, and nation. This is for Philippines. So it depends, like whatever the need that we see in the communities in our nation, then we focus, we tailor fit our project.
And your personal background, education, work experience?
I graduated as a teacher in the University of Bohol in Philippines, but I was very young. At age 21, I immigrated to America. I work at the United Nations our United Nations office. We pioneered the UN Office of Women's Federation, and I worked there for 16 years. That's pretty much my background is in the non-governmental organization, the UN NGO community.
So can I call you like you're one of these women who are fighting for women rights and all that,
Not fighting.
Not fighting.
Not fighting. That we have to change the paradigm to a more peaceful one.
A more peaceful one.
I would like to be called peace activist, a global peace activist.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
She's also a mother of.
I'm a mother of 5.
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
and a wonderful husband, handsome, wonderful husband. Guapo. We call it in Filipino.
And by the way, are you one of those who were married in this
Yes.
big marriage, like thousands of people married by Reverend Moon?
Yes. Since I was in college, we joined this youth group in our campus. We called it at that time Collegiate Association for Research of Principles. 18-year-old, I was still 18, and I think those principles really helped me find where the trajectory of my life is going to be. And then at 30, I get married to this wonderful man, raised up by the same principles. And I think that really helped me and my family and my husband live a life that is more like public. I do the public life, serving the public, and my husband is the one who's making the money, and he makes the money and I spend the money. Yes, for a good cause.
Yeah, you're a woman activist.
Yes.
Okay, so go on then, and then so this conference.
Yes, this conference is unique in a way because the Universal Peace Federation has held so many of the summit series in Nepal, in Cambodia, and all over Africa and in South America, all over the world. But this would be the first time we are holding the First Ladies Summit. And you would ask, why, of all the venue, why Palau? Such a small country. But I was told that here in Palau, you don't like to be called small country. You like to be called, we have huge ocean, a big nation with huge ocean.
Yes.
And that there lies the key. Because ocean in the island nations, in the Pacific Rim area where these nations, the first ladies, the culture of the island nations, you have this matrilineal system, matriarch, where the women are the key decision makers. And whether we like it or not, women plays a major role in the happiness of humanity. Because a house without a mother will be empty inside. So that's why the First Lady will be held here, because of the power of women to that the maternal character, love, and sociability, the ability to forgive and care. It's inherent in all women. And this is the kind of leadership that we need in this day and age. Unfortunately, in the last centuries, we've seen bloodshed and war. And it became the breeding ground of resentment and so many breakdowns of relationships and nations. So what we really need is women working together to introduce a new paradigm of leadership, parental, maternal leadership paradigm that can encompass a lot of our established boundaries, established by our own concepts. So national boundaries, clan boundaries, religious boundaries, cultural boundaries. And so when First Ladies, the mother of the nations, work together as sisters to raise the young people of their nations and their respective nations and teach them by modeling, showing the example, going beyond our boundaries and work together for the sake of the greater good, which is establishing a brotherly, sisterly relationship with each other. So when First Ladies are sisters and best friends, their husbands too will become best friends.
This will be the first time. Huh? I mean, I have never seen, at least in the last 50 years, I've been an activist, let's say, for 50 years. I have never seen this in the world. Not in the Pacific, not in Asia, not in Europe, not in Africa or South America, because I'm pretty keen on what's going on in the world. I keep track on things, because I'm a newsman. But I have never seen this. I mean, in your experience, do you know if there's there's been any First Ladies?
This is an absolute first. And this is why this is such an important time, as Merle commented. It is bringing the feminine essence to the healing power of the world. There's a recessive feminine essence even in men, believe it or not. And then we want to awaken that in everybody, that essence of dialoguing and nurturing. And as Merle said, we are the peacemakers in the home, that as we go, the home goes. And so we make our house into a home. Right?
Correct.
And so this is a very precious time, because for the first time these women who can actually do something alongside of their men, they can actually impact with that feminine essence, the desire for bringing peace to this world, the desire for ending poverty and ending all kinds of violence. this is a women's purview to bring that into the home and to bring it at large. And this is what's going to happen here.
So in terms of the topics of the discussion, can you just kind of brief us on what, you mentioned general topics, but
Yes. Centering on that premise, the universal values, interdependence, mutual prosperity, then the topics. So in the morning, there will be the inaugural session speeches with the First Ladies and attended by the First Lady of course, the Palau. And then after the session in the morning, there's another afternoon session, which is the role of women. And we focus so more on the solutions and best practices that have worked. There are solutions and best practices, but it has not been highlighted so much in the hallways and in this discussion table, because according to the First Lady, Debbie, she said that most of the meetings, they focus so much on problems and challenges, but then but there are best practices that needs to be highlighted and then work from there, no matter how small the model is. And you have it in Palau, the peace and the peace that you have. I don't know if you realize, Palauans realize, the basic human needs, food, clothing, and shelter, you have it. It's the dream of the people in Africa and some people in the Philippines. And then the women's, the apex of women's rights and women's empowerment, you have it in Palau, actually. It's the dream of many in the Middle Eastern countries, in African countries. And just recognizing that you have it. And there might be few challenges, but then, working along that and then understanding what are the challenges that hinders the woman, that powerful woman from shining and glowing to her fullest potential and be creative and productive and be the peace influencer of the nation and make Palau the greatest nation on earth. It is there already, but we just have to kind of awaken it, and then because you have everything you need. And I like that there you have no traffic lights. The carbon, the emission is I don't know if it's maybe not zero, but really very low. And I heard that there's a drug abuse, but compared to Philippines, where I live, really you are such a peaceful nation. And so, the models of world peace need to be seen, not to be described. And people need to come here because you have the model also of this ocean, beautiful ocean, and the waters, clean, unadulterated waters that you have, and the pristine paradise. People need to feel it so that they can see hope. They need to see what peace is like, what family is like, because you have this beautiful culture of family togetherness. Just a little bit of maybe tweak that a little bit of how to make everyone in that family really happy, but it's already inherent. So this is the topics that we're going to be discussing. Family. So not just the environment as per se, environmental, what do you call that? The climate change, but it's more on also on creating the environment for families to be happy, creating environment for the young people to grow peaceful and environmentally loving people. So this is on the first day, the session for women. We have women speakers women leaders from all over the world coming. And the last session is in the afternoon about the environment. It is organized by the government. So, government of Palau. The next day is very exciting. It is the Interfaith Family Festival.
That's going to be Wednesday.
Yes, on the 11th, 9 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. and then lunch will be provided. It is, I don't know if you have witnessed it in the past, but we're famous for holding these family festivals, interfaith, interreligious families, Muslims, Hindu, Buddhist, Christian families, renewing their marriage vows. And it's such a beautiful thing because, some people, they've made their vows 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 50 years ago, and rekindling that promise. You remember the day you said I do, and I pledge my life for better, for worse, like that, right? And then you were so young and in love, right? So we would not see the challenges ahead. But now, 5 years, 10 years, 20, 50 years after, we have the wear and tear of relationships, and you renew that right
we don't
there.
do that here. Most of us marry through custom.
Okay.
Customary,
Lovely.
so the two families meet and then
Yes.
both sides we exchange.
So it's the
food and
families
money.
that say I do.
Yeah.
And where is the
Yeah,
bride and the
yeah.
groom?
Yeah, or we'll be sitting there and then the uncle of the wife says, I give her to you, and then we give. It's exchange.
Oh,
Incredible
It's
begins.
And
we
this
sit there and
is
then we just
this-
sit there and then they talk for us and we just sit there.
This is the perfect opportunity, don't you think, Irene, for Palauans to publicly and together with all the families. We have 200 families international coming, joining us. 200
Wow.
Palauan families, 200 international families. This is their time. They never had a chance to say I do privately, and then in the
wow,
altar,
yes.
then they will say I do. I do this for the sake of world peace,
Yes.
for the sake of my children, for the sake of the nation.
Yes.
I do. So
Wow.
isn't that exciting?
That will be the first here.
And it's wonderful because people are coming from outside, from thousands of miles away to do this, to participate, and you are right here. This is an opportunity for people living right here to
Wow.
participate.
Irene, that's
And
that's
it has a
something new.
spiritual power. Really,
I should
like
say something in Palauan, so in case there are
Yeah,
some
yeah,
Palauans
yeah,
out
yeah,
there.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I had the opportunity to spend a couple of hours with this wonderful lady, Merle, over tea. Maktiw ay sa kita atarbela luase Merle ma Susi and Daniela. Tirka ngartia lom teer tirka atra Women's Federation for World Peace. Masel mesara newspaper WFWP. Ekom lamang dengel wasang ngarum teera World Federation for World Peace.
Blue Earth, oh, ito.
Balul ataro kid. Tira ka nga chapter sa tira kal guk obi sa tira bekal balul maliwek ra balul at yang artial dia kal lolas malwase o bota atrak mal ngaral klali tabayo reol kire lapud lwase bol bekal atal gagro sa klaw bararti radio sa bol sa ilmotmak elo el qor oldang se el adadu bol gukal tuikel giril التغير أبئيل الترجل ملابئيل سبئيل جوك مرا أبوائل دول واسي أوي مرال لكن مرال بئيل يسومام المليسي إرسل دتون مقلل أقلا تلونغال الآتما بئيل مقرا تلونغال المرا أبوائل مقرا أبلو من سلو ريري رحمال دي تغير أبوذ ما كيمان بنا سوليل من سبئيل مبنجتر الألتوتاو. I also want to say that when we say the word feminist or feminism, in America, sometimes it's interpreted in a very strong way.
Radical way.
Radical way. So, I want to explain to the Palauans that you are here for world peace, and also we Palauan women, we're already strong already, so we don't really need to But I had a very good conversation with Merle about family structure and how it starts at home with the husband and wife, and there's a huge role of the wife, the woman.
Yes.
And even for those who are not married, God made you for a reason, and we would like to be able to work together. So thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we maybe hear a little bit from Susi and Danielle?
Yes, yes.
Well, I guess before you really will listen to me or believe me, I better say a little bit about my background, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as you've already seen, I come from Australia, and I grew up there, and I was lucky enough to spend some time in the Philippines and had some amazing spiritual awakenings, and also in America, where I met my husband as well. And so my background is actually, I'm a holistic nutritional biochemist. I head up Women's Federation for World Peace Queensland in a similar note that Merle does, very concerned about the feminine essence coming to the forefront, the healing essence, but working side by side with men to uplift the family, for men's essence to come, the true essence of man to come forward, to work together with the true essence of the wife. And so I'm a holistic nutritional biochemist, and also I've done master's degree studies in the field of teaching children, raising up youth leaders, and also currently I'm working on what's called a domestic peace program, Domestic Peace Forum. And because I'm very, very concerned about communication issues and relationship issues, to bring those to the forefront in the healing balm. Because if we don't know how to communicate well with each other, how can we have really good relationships? So relationship skills are so critical. And also our health is very critical, because without our health, that's the baseline, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual. If ever that is interfered with, all our dreams and aspirations, for our young people especially, will not come true. So that's why I'm passionate about health, relationship skills, and also I really want to invite people, please don't miss this opportunity. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, never heard of, with women coming together, and I believe it will be the foundation for many, many more to come. So this is the inaugural one, and this is going to be the best one. So please, I could say much more, but I want to give some time to Daniela as well.
Daniel, yes.
First of all, I'm so grateful to be here, first time in Palau, and I really appreciate this time to share. Just briefly, I come from a family of 6. My parents are from Italy, very strong religious family, and I'm actually blessed to have 6 children myself as well, and to actually have a husband that's also very supportive of what we do, what I do. He said, yes, you can go. I still take some work with me. I can do it online, but combine both is very empowering for me as a mother as well, because my goal is world peace. I live and I believe in that. And I believe that I'm the instrument every day in what I think and what I do every day. And every moment I feel how I live that moment. This is my testimony to my own children. And they're very happy to see me, being able to go and travel and do this kind of, it can be very external work, but actually it's the more we actually capture what's going on. Like you said, Moses, this is the first time. How can this be like in this world where we struggle for equality, we struggle to find truly connection and love, to feel that every day. We're having a First Lady Summit, so somebody is doing something beyond what we can even capture yet, and that's so empowering for me. Yes.
So were you Catholic?
Yes, I was raised a Catholic. I'm still Catholic at heart. I feel our faith is our roots, but I feel like our roots is we never lose our roots, and this is our strength. We don't cut off from anything. We just grow. We grow from everything that we have. And this is truly breaking down the fears. Our fears are just dividing us. Even our fear to connect with anyone, with any religion. We have so much wealth. Our Heavenly Parent, our Creator, has distributed the wealth and the knowledge for everyone. Yes. Everyone has a piece. We just need to look at it and see, wow, what can you give me? What can I learn from you? And then we're eliminating the fears, and that's one of our main, our main obstacles of really coming together and enjoying, to really going to a next level where we can start to create and not, live in the past, where our issues, our problems, or where we come from, our history. That's yesterday, it's gone. We can capture this wave, this big wave, and just, feel and unite with each other. And this is, I feel, is the strength of each one of us. The ones who can connect deeply, we can all connect to that more deeply now. This is the time. Either I'm a man or a woman. I have those aspects within myself as well, and so does a man. It's just that unity is the most important thing. Uniting those two, the feminine aspect and the masculine aspect. And if I can do that as a woman, and I can support my husband, my husband can support me to do that as well. We all support each other to grow and be there when we're having challenging times or dealing with our own fears. So.
Well, in our culture, the most important person in your life is number one is mother.
Yes.
Number two is sister. Number three is uncle.
Wow.
And number four is your wife.
And every woman should come to Palau and learn this. And how beautiful.
Yes.
And incredible. I must say, you talk about, women here are powerful. They're like basic in our, in our clans, in our family. And I just had a meeting with the, women in my clan yesterday, and regarding one of a child was adopted out to the father's side.
Yes.
And then there was a funeral of his father. And then they're not related to, so we have to contribute help to his the funeral of his father, and they give him Palauan money, to when a father dies, the relatives, especially the women, would provide money. So he received the money, and he has to come to the mother's family. The mother already died, to show to the, to the women in our clan that this money, and that money is supposed to, our side. We're supposed to hold that money. Until he grows up, but he's already elder man, so we say, okay, you keep it, you keep it, because you're older for your son, and it's the money that was given by the husband, the family of his grandmother who raised him.
Wow.
This is the most beautiful, fascinating
so from the
tradition.
grandmother's wife, the husband, the relatives have to give money to the wife, Palauan money. And it's been kept for at least,
centuries.
Yeah, for like 100 years. And finally it was given out from that family to the grandchild. So it was
so beautiful.
So
the symbol of the money exchange is a symbol of love, but the The deep meaning of the exchange is really deep in Palauan culture.
Wow.
It's it involves unity.
Yes.
We respect and
Yes.
we recognize that although he's adopted, he's beloved by
Yes.
you and by us.
Yes.
It's a much deeper meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what a display of care and
Yes,
empathy and
it's a
love.
beautiful custom
Yes.
that we still have today.
Yeah.
Now
And
I
then-
understand more than ever.
yeah. And then the message was given to him that you're adopted out to another family and you raise you different than us. But you know that in our culture, whenever if they kick you out or if you have an unfortunate tragedy and stuff, we're the one who pick you.
Yes.
So
You have a
always,
place to
go. The roots.
so always know that you never be homeless, you never be without food and shelter,
Okay.
and then
Yes.
we'll take care of you.
Oh.
What a
Yeah,
wonderful
Yes.
paradigm.
yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes,
the
world
mother
needs
side,
to see this.
Yes.
That's why it's not by accident that the First Lady Summit is inaugurated here.
Absolutely.
Because the women of the world, the women leaders of the world need to see this.
Yes.
And the leaders of the world need to see this. So the other day someone said, even though Palau is very small, but it's like the parable of the Bible, the mustard seed.
Yes,
It starts like you can barely see it on your palm, but when it grows, it's the largest tree in the garden.
Yeah.
So this is like the seed is here in Palau. You have this
Already.
beautiful culture and tradition about love, unity, and connecting intergenerational
Absolutely.
connection, which the world has beginning to lose or lost, losing
It needs
or
to
lost.
find again.
Yeah. And we're also
Find it
facing
here in
challenges.
Palau.
We're also facing challenges regarding these
Yes.
very core values in our society because of this
Absolutely.
idea of private ownership and then
Absolutely.
individual right exerted against rights of the family and the interest of the family. So we're also going through challenges that we really need to kind of look at it and then deal with it. I mean, you have to face up.
Challenging times.
So,
I wonder if Salvador has any questions for you ladies.
Yeah, I was wondering if you can explain the session in this 2 days conference regarding the women empowerment. What's going to be your approach or discussion regarding the women empowerment? And you say that the home is a very important aspect of our life because that's where the peace begins. But many people think that with this women empowerment, you take the woman away from home. And what are the roles that are being played in the home to create that peace? That when you raise a child, she knows that she has or he has a home, sweet home, where he can always go back and find that.
Good question.
That's a really good question.
That's amazing.
Yesterday, we were talking over breakfast about balancing women's power and the responsibility publicly. How can you become a peacemaker at home at the same time spreading peace all over the world when you're not constantly present at home?
When we say that's
Yes.
that's where the peace begins.
Yes. So right there. But I see it like a woman leader. I think these women who are attending this and in this country, women are empowered already. But we just have to see, I think, the vision. 3 things. Vision of a beautiful world where we're heading to, where we want our families to be. And number 2 is focus. We focus on what we want, what our hearts want, what we want for our family and for our country, and then balance. How we get balance? We really need to, because for me, for the last 25, 30 years of my life, I've been really a public person. But then, if I don't keep that balance of inspiring my husband every day while inspiring the world, connecting my relationship to my husband and my children, and inspiring the world. We can never be inspiring to the world. We can never really lead without being happy inside in our families. So balance.
Yeah, women in the recent decades have traveled all over the world trying to find answers for these difficult times. And we have found none. And yet we say that peace begins at home. Aren't we leaving the home where we should be nurturing the peace instead of going out to the world, looking for it while we have it in our hearts? Because like Susi said, or Daniel, the peace rests in your heart. The relationship begins in your heart.
That's right.
And why do you go elsewhere to look for it?
Yes.
The Interfaith Family Festival will give you the answer right there.
So I was wondering how you go approach the empowerment discussion when you build and have women. What's the purpose of being empowered for women?
Well, I think it's really important that we understand that we're created beings. We didn't create ourselves. So the very essence of women and men is a result of understanding the purpose for which our Creator, whether you want to whether you want to call God or some other loving force, is imbued in us is the essence of the feminine and the masculine that comes to us from our Creator. So in a sense, for us to truly understand our purpose and our essence, we've got to go back to the source. And I think this understanding of going back to the source helps us to find our true identity, our true nature, our true purpose. When we find our true purpose, we will find our value. And that is so important because that is the means by which we relate to each other with love and understanding and patience, is if we love and respect each other, understanding our true value. So I don't think we can really understand our true essence without going back and understanding where we've come from. And this is the purpose of religion. It's not to actually divide us or say mine is the best, but it is actually to say, what is my original nature? Where have I come from? Religion means return to the origin. What is our original essence and being? So I think this is something of a discovery that peace comes within me when I understand who I really am and what I'm supposed to be. And how can I help, let's say, my husband and my children to become the very best that they can be?
Beautiful.
Wow.
Well, I'd like to add to that. It's a good question. And again, words can somehow confuse people because empowerment. In Palau, we women, we're already born knowing that we can just turn our heads and things, with children, you look at them. So if you translate empowerment to Palauan, really what we need to hear as Palauans is, what are the responsibilities, the duties, the fiduciary duties of a woman, whether they're married, they're a mother, or they're a single young woman. So it's atokor bela waseng ngarangal alirartil. Ngarangal aledel al suma kapiil mal ubala ko pail ngara sel mal Dios amil skaul ngar alem. Tiakal tulwa sa kakmal masisi makar ela ati mo marael tio mga taretar pekla ati. I have a good example with my husband. He's American, so he's still adjusting to the cultural, cultural shock. Now it's cultural climatization where he's at. And in Palau, he realizes that women, even when they don't say anything, they just look at their nephews, their brothers, and they sort of have an understanding that yes, the trust need to be lifted from there and brought to the, so he's still adjusting because in America, the role of women is empowerment and feminism is radical. It's different than in Palau. And so I said it in Palauan so that way people understand that in Palau it's really when you say empowerment, it means what are our duties, what are our responsibilities that God gave you as a woman, whether you're married or single or you're a young woman. So
That's true.
May I just add to that, Irene, is like in Salvador, so it's actually everything that we have built so far, you know, even our own families, like the world, the systems, so everything is just like it's just on a growing process. Even myself as a mother, I feel I have already 6 children. My youngest is 21, but I feel I am every day I am growing and I'm maturing. I want to be a mother again. I want to have children again, because I will be a much better mother, in a sense that I take that as being just my journey. But I see even the environment around us in the world, what we have created also is an environment that is very mixed, and there's so much. It's not just what I can give to my children. You know, if I could have them like that, but even I was not mature enough myself. So either my position as a leader or whatever I do, my first task is actually to be really like, where are my roots and who I am as a person. Every day is a reflection in everything I do. Am I doing for, why am I doing this? And I shed all this, you know, my shortcomings, my maturity, my fears, my egocentrism, I want to take over, all these characters that we're just shredding and being able to not just myself, but really create them by also going out, not being out all the time, not being in all the time, but in a family, I mean, but to connect to a worldwide kind of a family, to create a world family. That is our goal, because we cannot even, like we in Palau, to have a First Lady Summit is incredible.
You know,
but we need to connect
when it
to
was
a next
first,
level.
when it was first mentioned about a year ago about this, I was thinking about it. I said, you know, this is really unusual, because First ladies, I mean, I don't know whether, you know, I guess you know around the world, you know, they play different role, but they're really not in the government. There's some kind of a role, and it's, you know, in US they have that controversy over like having an office of the First Lady of this new president in the White House, you know, because they're like, a shadowy, you know, but we know a person in the government, and you know they influence the decision because they sleep with a guy, you know. So every day, so they're whispering to the ears and so they really exert a lot of influence. I mean, and I have tried it in one of the president in Palau. I wanted to do government to do something, but I go through the official channel, and it's just, you know. So I went through, and I'm not going. I went through the First Lady, and I talked to her and stuff like that, and then it was materialized. So I mean, really, so you know, when this thing was first brought up, and I was thinking about this, yeah, why not? You know, because I mean, if the First Lady of a government, you know, with a small or big government, if she puts certain things, especially like basic stuff, you know, basic values like, you know, freedom and peace, and I'm sure, you know, if you're going to talk to the guy every morning or in bed or stuff like that, you know, he's going to act. He's going to come to the office and say, boys, let's get this done, you know.
Has anybody ever seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yes,
I encourage you to see that. There's a scene in there where the young woman wants to go and study, and the father doesn't want her to do that. That's not the purview of the woman or the girl to do this. And so she really wants to study. And so she goes to the mother and she says, "Mom, I really want to study, but Dad says no." And she says, "Wait a minute. Your daddy may be the head of the family, but I am the neck. And I turn the head." So I have a very interesting nickname for this First Ladies Conference, and I'm calling it the Neck Club. This is so important
Oh, my
because the
goodness.
Good
woman,
way to see it.
the woman is in touch with the very essence of what's happening in the family and the constituents in the nation, and the men are more concerned about the posturing and the
Yes,
political
yes.
scenario, and so it
The
is
appearance,
really,
yeah.
that the appearances. But the women are down to earth, and they share in common. Regardless of religion or culture or anything like this, they share in common the importance of raising good children, having a good family, the environment, all of these more feminine type qualities. And so when you talk about empowering women, it's not fighting. There's all these kind of programs going on, anti-violence and stop violence, but look at, in that paradigm is the word violence. So what happens when you hear the word violence? It's like a stress response. But when you hear about women bringing peace, it's like, oh, I can breathe, right? So this is why we need to take away these words like violence or anti-violence or fight, because it doesn't connote the end point that we want. Don't we want, as women and men, the end product in our families to be the most beautiful relationships of love and respect and empathy, not just the absence of violence, which means I may not talk to you in the room or this or that. There's no violence, but it's not the epitome of the loving, beautiful relationships that we're capable of building as men and women join together, and helping men to empower women, women to empower men. No, that's right. Yes, I've got it. Women to empower men. I'm getting mixed up.
Inspire men.
Yeah, inspire men.
Empowered women inspire men.
Inspire men. Inspire
Here
men.
is- but here is the thing about here, and Salvador touched it, the role of men and women, and role of men. Because we have, in our society, it's very stratified. You know, boys have, children have role, and young adult, and women have role, husband, and very clearly define where you, what your role. So the thing that men complain now is look, the women already have power in our society. They control the land, they control the title, they control the money. So we're stuck. I mean, it's my mother or my sister who decide whether I'll be a chief or not, or if I screw up, they fire me. You know, or if I need money, they decide to money. If I want to use the land or give the land to somebody else, I have to get permission from them and all that. So here is the thing. So women, they said, you stay in the home, you control the clan, and you know, because women are emotional, they're detailed, and they take care of the babies from 9 months in birth, and so they should stay at home. They should keep peace and make sure, because if they go outside, if they start talking about policies, if they come, start participating in politics and in decision making in the government, then they're going to neglect their duties as a peacemaker, as an organizer, as in the family. And if they leave the family and the children and go spend time in public doing this public stuff, then what about the children? What about the family?
Yeah.
Who's going to keep the? So that's why men in our society, because men are outside discussing public matters. They spend time bullshitting. They talk in the bar, in the canoe house, but they make a policy for the village. They represent the clan. So that's why if they make a wrong decision or they don't follow the clan decision, they'll fire them. The women said, "Okay, come, you're out." But if women go there and do that policy, then the children and the clan is neglected. So this is the kind of problem that we face,
That's
I think that's one of the issue, because nowadays we're trying to define the role of the women in a traditional way and this new
this modern world.
where people need to work. We're trying to empower women so they can get a job, because they think that as a traditional woman, they don't have the opportunity to earn or to have their to express themselves in the public. But actually, it's not really true, because in Palauan society, in our tradition, women have a very big responsibility to teach their children in their role, in their clan, in order to maintain that authority and power. So they empower their children. And their children know that in certain age, they have to join these community groups in order for them to be matured in a public way. So it's really the role of women is being really redefined because of this new world.
Yes.
But many Palauans are complaining because their children are not listening to their parents.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And they question, where are the mothers? Where is that tradition? Yeah. We have left our house. We have left our home and work. And nobody is taking care of the children.
Sure. And
so I think we really need to define the role of not only women but men.
Yes.
To live in this and families.
Yes, indeed.
Because in our traditional custom, we've been very happy and peaceful. And we have this Palauan custom where we visit villages and make that relationship in our network between the islands and villages. Yeah. But now things seems to be being divided.
It's the youth, right? It's the youth, right? You touch a very good point. That's the youth, right? So this is I have 6 children. So my children are actually my main source of growth. They actually bring out really what is actually lacking in me, what I need to change, because they see the future. They see me as a parent. They see me as a parent, see myself and my husband as a parent, but they can see what is the next. They can already feel. They're in already a different dimension. So through them, if we learn to grow and we learn to, like you're saying, the youth here, they're feeling, this is not good enough. This is not good enough. They're looking for something else. They're looking, because that's their role, is to create something better, right? To push, to create from what it was created before, but to take it to a new level. So they can feel, well, okay, this, they can see, like even perceive without saying in words. They can perceive what we need to do next. And that is, they bring out all the issues by their behavior. They can't express it in words. They can't be the teachers, but they can bring out by their behaviors, by living, by saying, no, this is not good enough. No, I want something else. You're talking about peace or happiness, but I'm not happy. I'm not in peace. You're not in peace, Mom. Don't talk to me about peace. I can see you're not in peace. You don't get along with Dad. Why do you? So they push the bound. They behave like that, and that's really like bringing back to the roots, right? So I need to embody it. If I don't embody as a mother and as my relationship with myself, with God and myself and my husband, then it's like really my behavior is what actually they can see and feel more than even my words, right? And the system and everything that is being created, it's just those stepping stones for us to actually expand and create. And we need to work and open up our minds and our heart and believe that. That's, I think, the fundamental thing, right? To believe that we have something good that we created so far as a human family, but we need to unite to go to the next step of putting all our resources together. You feel that? I feel that. I feel so blessed to be here and to read, to feel.
I think our tradition, in our
traditions, yeah.
Women teach their children to explore the world. And first they have to teach them to be mature, to understand the world, so they can have the picture to explore the world when they go out and leave their home. Mm-hmm. That's why we have a saying in Palauan that when you leave home, you turn and face and see your home before you leave. That means when you go to the world, you have to come back and bring better things
Yes.
to your
Or
home.
you have to know where you came from.
Or where you
Yes,
came from.
remember.
So you have to look at your house and then know where you know where you came from.
Yes.
Who are you? Where you came from?
Yes.
What you and then you go outside and then bring the whatever.
And
good.
so, like you said, if we want peace, we should have it at home.
That's true.
First, yeah.
First at home.
So-
First in your own heart.
Yeah. So let me give you a real serious problem that we face. And it's technology. This new technology that has
yes.
come into our midst.
Yes.
And we all agree it's good because of communication. But I had some leaders from Guam here, and they same thing. And then I read in the world, all over the world now, these small little things that
Here.
this one.
This one.
I mean, it has become like a way of our kids. Everybody like like in our meetings, they still. So I say, hey, stop that. We're in a meeting. It's a good thing that has been discovered and invented in the world, but now it has break our system of communication.
Absolutely.
And regardless of we cannot have peace if we don't communicate. And the
Absolutely.
reason for wars and conflict is
Yes.
failure of communication.
Yes.
So the question is, what do we do with this thing? Because I mean, like my wife complains because we call a meeting of our children, we come and then we cannot. I mean, they start playing, and then okay, yes, or turn off that.
Oh, my
so
goodness,
so they
yes,
say
yes.
yes, but they're thinking, So they're not in the
Present.
Yeah, so we spend 1 hour, 2 hours, and we just said, forget it. Just stop it. Okay, and our grandchildren, 4 years old, 5 years old, my goodness, hey, I'm talking to you.
Right.
So how do we deal with this issue? Because one of the reasons why Palauan families were peaceful, there was unity, is because we spent time talking.
Yeah.
During mealtime,
Yes.
in the morning before we go, and
Yes.
then at night when we come, and then the storytelling, and then everything comes, But now we don't have.
This is a
So I
huge
mean,
problem.
this is to me this is a more serious problem that mothers, especially mothers, have to figure out. How do you
Address.
That's a
How
really
do we
huge
solve that?
problem. We've noticed that so much in the West, and it's coming now that particularly in the Pacific Islands. Palau, you've got all the things in
Yes.
place. You have access to all sorts of resources that a lot of other islands don't have yet. But one thing that we're trying to, as the West, share with the Pacific Islands is be careful. This new age of technology is coming, and it will rob you and your families of true communication and your family time and intimate time. And so I have a joke with my husband. Sometimes he's very busy on this thing here. And I said, you like this other wifey better than you like me, right? I call it wifey, Wi-Fi, right?
Wi-Fi,
And he'll be like this, and he says, "Yes, speak. I'm listening to you. It's
Yeah.
okay, And as part of communication is actually being present, the physical presence, the eye contact, the I turn to you and so forth, and that's being taken away. So from a very young age, I caution people, as you raise your children, don't give them one of these to look at because it's convenient and you don't have time for them. Because that has become...
Babysitter.
Yes, babysitter.
Yeah, it's a mistake,
Babysitter.
easily done, and mistakes we made too. And make sure you don't give those children access to these things before you've had a chance to explain what these are capable of in support of what you're trying to do, not in place of what you're trying to do. Have family time and say, when we sit at the table to eat, that isn't in the room. Or when we go out together, that isn't around. You have to start from a very young age. Because what's coming with this is so disastrous, because not only the communication, but I'm sorry to say the horrific sexual things that are coming, the pornography, because the pornography that's coming here is replacing normal, loving sexual relationships in the family, and it's also creating an atmosphere of violence that we have to become very, very aware of that it's bringing. So, please.
You know, I read this article regarding young adult parents in the United States have started using this technology like a babysitter
Yes.
for them, in order for them to find job.
Yeah.
And so it's one of the problems that they say it's one of the reasons why United States has become a very chaotic
Yes. Yes. Yes.
country, which have defied the look of the world toward the United States because of this technology and the young adult parents who are using technology to babysit their children while they find a work or they go out from home to work. And so I was just, it was my thought, are you considering these issues in your discussion in this 2-3 days First Ladies Conference? Because these are some of the major issues, not only United States, but Palau and other countries of the world are facing.
Yes.
And women are most likely have a chance to do that to the
Absolutely
children
true.
than the family.
That will be discussed.
In fact, we have this on the third day. Oh no, second day and the 11th afternoon, we have the International Youth Assembly. And actually, in fact, they've been going around all over Palau and the Palau High School, Palau Community College. Young people are being engaged to understanding, their role. And the theme actually is creating a culture of heart. The role of the young people in creating a culture of heart. And that is so beautiful. Yeah, this is... actually starting, is it today? Today and tomorrow. They have a youth camp, right? A global youth camp. It's free. 1 night and 2 days of fun and enjoyment at the same time, creating peace.
Where is that?
Okay, Coco Beach Resort, Ngirmang, Palau. The camp highlights culture exchange, talent night, fun games, service project, seminar for peace project, and seminar for building good character.
That's being held today and tomorrow?
Today and tomorrow in Ngirmang,
Including
Coco
tonight.
Beach Resort. Starting today and tomorrow. And they also have that synergy speech competition. And a very big prize they're throwing out there, $1,000 for the winner.
Is that Wednesday?
Yeah.
The 6th and 7th today. What they
6 and 7. This is today and tomorrow. But the synergy competition is on Wednesday, December 11th.
Yes.
Let me say it in Palau.
Yes.
This is going out there to all the youth, the young people of Palau. They're having the Global Youth Camp. It's happening today and tomorrow. Today is Friday, December 6th. Tomorrow is Saturday, December 7th. And it's happening at Coco Beach Resort. Tia ngaringil sel Coco Beach Resort tangaringiwal maliko mal oltur atrablimi may ngoy titras alimi mora Global Youth Camp semal global basyon ngara madala ngiwal mal alo ngaringi swimming pool mako mga dube malungil programe kamil parents kamil adam maatil gimalolngit tulwase molokora ngaligi center stall time borngay kay kitol korawngil activity rangal kalmer bela ul dia ka ro bel dia ka toko dia ka ngarang mal di ungil lengkal ma ungil toko ya lol ko sabi rangal ligul kukmo matangal tri rar kukngal kar pepi rapulul ngar bela el all time international kids are also there
Yes.
makmalol ngit talwaseng malungil te al yakmal lot kya da makluul men sabi kalungil mel ko toko ranga para tang palmleswal sel poraway kay kidia po mo kukumsu way sel lol ko ringa sa toy katuksu ang may galungil to ko ya tangal mermay Maka malungil portiay ki demonte mo best el alsil sa maklukuk.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So we're coming to an end. So can you just go over like more detail about this program? What's happening? You said there's a banquet, welcoming banquet on Monday night.
Yes, on Monday night is the welcome banquet, and it's organized by the Office of the President, and President will host it at Palau Pacific Resort. And then on the next day, the inaugural session is from 9:30 until 12 noon, and then lunch will be served there.
Where?
At Amayong.
Okay, and then?
Amayong Cultural Center, and then lunch, and then there will be under 2 o'clock the women's session, the role of women, solutions and best practices. And at 4 o'clock there's another session. This is organized by the Palau government. Speakers will be for Palauans and other speakers. And for the next day, 9 a.m. to 11:30 is the Interfaith Family Festival. We're expecting 400 plus couples, both Palauans and international couples. So this, we really highly encourage all Palauan families, couples to join us. And then lunch will be served there at the Cultural Center. And then in the afternoon is the exciting 3 concurrent events happening. One is the Youth Assembly, International Youth Assembly. I don't know if Palau has been able to gather 500 youth in one place at the same time. International youth, the role of youth in creating a culture of peace. So parents, I highly encourage all of you to send your children and let them participate in this first ever once-in-a-lifetime event for the Palauan youth. And another happening at the same time is our event. This is the Women's Federation session. We are inviting 20 Palauan women leaders and 50 international women leaders. We showcase our best practices, our projects from all over the world, what has worked in Oceania and particularly Asia and Oceania. This will happen in Palau Royal Resort until 3:30 p.m.
That's Wednesday.
On Wednesday, the 11th. And the First Ladies, they have their special session arranged by the First Lady, just the First Ladies, going somewhere, talking to each other now, informal, friendly.
Like retreat or something, yeah. Retreat.
They're going somewhere special, all the First Ladies. And then the closing banquet at 6 p.m. Wednesday evening. And on the 12th, everyone will have fun at the Rock Islands. And departure all day, and we are waiting for that moment.
Yes.
Rock Island. The trip to Palau without Rock Islands is never complete.
Yes, I know. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank
we
you
really
so
appreciate
much.
for
What a
having
privilege
us. Such
to be with you.
a deeply inspiring, enlightening conversation. Don't you think so, Salvador?
Thank you.
Well, thank you, ladies.
Thank you for having
Salvador and I feel minority here. 2 men versus 4 women. So we're a bit overwhelmed, but
But you have given us the opportunity to express ourselves, so that is a very powerful thing in itself.
But you're lucky if you have listened to our previous programs. We ask a lot of questions and we make a lot of comments, but this time we're kind of just ask a few questions and listen.
That makes us feel special.
Thank you.
Empowered.
Thank you very much.
An inspired woman can make a husband more inspired and powerful.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes.
So I know I have worries because I know this we have an election coming up next year, about a year from now, and I think it's going to be crowded with women, because of this conference of yours, and then it's going to inspire. But in closing, can you just, in a nutshell, summarize this Universal Peace Federation? I mean, it's important because it's a lot of people have asked me, said this organization is this a church organization connected with the Unification Church of South Korea and Reverend Moon?
Susi, would you like to? Your husband works with UPF, so he's.
So it's important because in our mind, church and NGO or government should be separate, and so is this a way of like try to convert us to your church, or
No.
So can you explain, because
This is definitely not a way to convert people. I mean, I say to people about UPF or Women's Federation, these are all but conduits to lead us back to our heavenly parent, to God. If I were to ask God, what religion are you? What do you think he would answer? God wants his children back together again. We're all brothers and sisters. We're all under one family. There shouldn't be all this separation. My religion is better than yours, or your religion's better. That doesn't work. Universal Peace Federation, Women's Federation for World Peace are all about bringing back peace, peaceful relationships amongst all of us. And so we shouldn't be thinking of conversion to any religion. We're converting people to God. Is that a problem? I believe that this is the essence of the healing of our world and the universe, is when everybody feels that love from God and becomes that conduit and reservoir of peace and love and truth to all of mankind. When we start to feel as if we've got one heavenly parent and we're all brothers and sisters, will we feel a need to fight with each other? I don't believe so. Murli, would you like to add to what I've just said at all?
And it's a fact that this UPF, all major religion of the world take part in the or part of the UPF organization. Because I've attended many.
Yes.
And I see all, Catholics, Protestant, Jews,
100%.
Buddhist,
That's it.
name it, any. So it's a separate, it's a non-profit organization like all non-profit organizations, but it's maybe a rare one.
I just would like to add briefly from what Susi said. The Universal Peace Federation, from the word itself, universal peace.
That's right.
In order for all of us to work together peacefully, encompassing all our religious, cultural, national boundaries, we need a one guiding principle that kind of embraces everything. And so if we insist on our own religious beliefs, then we can never have peace. But the peace principles, one of the peace principles is recognize that we are children of God and we came from one parent. And number
That's
two,
right.
we are spiritual beings.
Yes.
Number three, marriage is sacred.
Absolutely.
And so family is the school of love. Number four, we need to live for the sake of others and think of others. And then number five is all religions should work together. And so these 5 principles of peace, it's like a machine that's broken, and if we don't go back to the principle for which it was created and just do our own fixing, it will never be fixed. So same thing in, like, if you want to learn how to fly, you need to know the principles of aerodynamics, right? And apply it. Same thing with peace. So this, just centering in these 5 principles, then we can make peace. It encompasses everything.
Well said. Okay.
That's the principle, the 4 main principles of the universal.
Yes, that's exactly what Murli just said. Yes.
Just mentioned.
Well,
Yes.
Thank you for that. That should conclude our, talk
That's
show
a
this
really
morning.
nice
Thank you.
conversation,
Thank
right?
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. So I'll also help to close in Palauan, so that way people know. Mandiaka dobe sa kimaloreng raungil weekend, the tial First Lady Summit, tial conference omu ra Monday, December 9th, e malmo ongewaluri or Thursday, December 12th. Mang pekpatengel agel el kora activities tira agel boloru la pekpatengel mang malungil sa iwe kom bukos mo maral mo rangara mayong cultural center, mo kom bukma information, maluba obis tira ngartiale matalay mo ma information and mutal mamatangay men sabi kami marang alaki will me mestrir me part trial program tira next week. Of man masaw, have a good weekend. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.